notification when you're
Yay! Hi, everybody. Well, we're here to share with you our real and raw stories, real stories that we all go through in life and go through the same emotions, and we deal with things the same way, different ways, but sometimes when we share, it just help us help each other and learn from each other. I invited my friends, Kim and Donnie, and we did to put a little video out there introducing each other. I hope you looked at it. And today we are going to tell something that each one of us been through, and the outcome, those little stories matters. So a long time ago, a few years back, we got a hurricane. It really did a lot of damage around my house. Not on my house, it was my fence was down, the trees were ripped to pieces, and I have so many trees and oak trees, and it was really rough. And it was me, and the kids were young in those days. So I started to clean up the front, and the more I clean, the more work I have. It's like the whole day I didn't even clean a quarter of the front right side. So I called my dad and I asked if he and my brothers and brother-in-law will all come and help me. And the answer was, oh, put your kids to work. They didn't have no damage, but it kind of hurt me. And I felt so alone in that time. I felt, oh my gosh, this is hard. What I am going to do is going to take me forever. But I remember sitting on the grass after working the whole day. And you know how we all go down and we kind of look at things, we become a victim of whatever happened. We forget to ask for help. And I think the important part is asking and realizing you're not alone. God is always there, and something will happen. You just need to ask. So I remember I gave up. I sat on the grass and I cried and I cried and I cried. I said, God, please figure it out for me. I don't know if I can do this by myself. I'm going to leave it in your hand. And the week passed, the weekend passed, and Tuesday was my day off. I was home, and about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, the door rang. And I said, oh, who's here? At this time, I opened the door and I had three men from a church with 15 teenagers. And they said, Sister Abdul, we are here. Whatever you want us to do, tell us and we'll do it. I was in shock. I cried. I cried. I couldn't even answer them. I just sobbed. I couldn't believe that that me asking for help, not a fraud. I didn't call nobody. I just asked for help from God. I just prayed. I said, please help me. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I have to tell you, the lesson, I always go back to those days, such a beautiful message that we never are alone, no matter what happened in our life. Ask, and really believe that God is going to help you, because you don't know the magic where it's going to come from. It is magic. And I remember they started and they realized that the damage was a lot more work than just 3 days. So they called their wives, they called other people. All of a sudden, within half hour, almost half of the church was in my yard helping me clean up. So, those are the times that even it was so much damage, it was so many blessings. And the most beautiful part is to receive, because when I received, I was able to give. Now totally different from desperation of I don't know how I'm gonna do this, to receiving from people, from little kids. I even have mothers came with their 5 and 6 and 7-year-old kids, and they're picking up with their family. And I'm looking at this whole scenario. What a blessing, and what a blessing to give, And the most important part, what a blessing to receive. Because now, if you give, it's totally from a different feeling right in here, it's totally different feeling. It is not that you given because, oh, you feel sorry for somebody. No, because you know what good how good it feel, how good it feel to receive and to know that somebody thinking about you, and you gave them a blessing for accepting what they gave. I hope, I hope if you are down, if your life is going crazy, which has been for all of us, I hope you stop and count your blessings, because when you count your blessings, magic happen. I'm gonna have my friend Kim tell us something, a story of hers.
Thank you,
Kim,
Yola.
yeah, go ahead, Kim.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Mm,
Um, wow, that warmed my heart.
mm,
And it's so funny. We really are coming raw and real, unscripted. And the story that I have to share is very similar, as far as like community coming together. I had surgery planned, this little bad boy here. And actually, both of my hands, I'm holding my phone with my other one. So my mom, like, I think for the first time, probably since I was like a senior in high school, she was gonna fly from California to Washington State to come take care of me,
mm,
as I healed for my first week, out of surgery. And I was so looking forward to it. I have a very close relationship with her, and this just was such a gift. She was going to come and take care of me, and she had meals planned and, cleaning and all that stuff. Well,
Nice.
the day that she was scheduled to come, my dad ended up having a medical emergency,
Mm,
and it ended up being life-threatening. And it was, it was very scary. And of course, like when she first told me, we didn't have all the information. So that, of course, brings its own anxiety. And, I was just, um, flooded with emotions because I was like, okay, I don't know if my dad's okay or if he's going to be okay. And do I need to go to California or should I do my surgery? And, just all of the things. And, um, so I reached out to my doctor, and for a surgery, there are many people involved. And they told me, if you need to cancel, they said, call in the middle of the night, call in the morning, whenever you need to. You
mm.
can just cancel if you need to go. And I was like, wow, that is so gracious. And I was just so grateful for just knowing that, right? It just gave me peace of mind. And then I was like at work when I got this news, and, of course, like started crying. And my coworkers just immediately came around me. They're like, my coworker in my classroom with me said, today's my last day. I can take you to your surgery and I'll bring you home. My son drove 2 hours from where he lives, where he went to college, and was here when we got back to like do the handoff. So she gave all the information to him. And so then he was taking care of me. Another coworker, um, called and said that she would bring dinner that night. And
Mm,
then another one, like literally, our coworkers are amazing. Another one started a meal train. And then my dear friend Coralie, who she's just amazing. She's like such a role model and inspiration, but she's 79. She lives about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. She's like, I'll drive down tonight and come and I can take you to your appointment. And I said, we're good. We have tomorrow covered, but I will need help on Monday,
mhm,
when my boys and Donnie go back to work. And
mm,
she's like, okay, I'll plan to come and stay for a week.
mm. Oh, oh.
I was like, overwhelmed. And there's so many more people that have contributed and brought meals and visited. And what I got present to was, if my dad hadn't had this emergency and my mom had come, I wouldn't be present to the amazing magic of community. And like you said, when we receive, it's actually a gift to the giver, because all of us want to contribute, and help people. But if nobody's asking, then there's not the opportunity. And
Yeah.
so, um, and there've been a couple layers. There's the receiving, and then there's the asking for help, which both are very uncomfortable. Most of us feel like, oh, I don't want to burden people, but it really isn't a burden. And, you can create that in the language. You can just say, I need a ride to the doctor. If you're available, I would love, your help. And if you're not, please just feel free to say I'm not available, right? So that you can create that there's no burden there. And again, it's a gift. When I had my first surgery, my friend said she thanked me for asking her for a ride. And I was like, okay, that seems really, really strange that you're thanking me. And she's like, I love the opportunity to help, because I feel so helpless usually when people are going through something. So yeah, and my dad's doing well. He
Awesome.
he is on the road to recovery and figuring out how to, manage his health conditions. But yeah, I really believe that the things that happen in our life happen for us, not to us, and that there is some kind of, reason. Sometimes we get to know, sometimes we don't. And
Yeah.
this was just a beautiful example of, being able to just witness and be present to the love in my community.
Yes. That's beautiful. Thank
Yeah, and I'd
you.
like to
Thank
pass
you.
off to Donnie for him to share.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I was going to share a different story, but we're doing raw and real here. So, actually, what I'm going to do first off, I'm Donnie. Hi, y'all. Don Padelford on Facebook. Um, uh, what I want to share is, for me, the giving, receiving, all of it. Like, that's a whole new process for me. So, for over probably 40 years of my life, I kind of ran solo, ran independent. I still do, um, but it's been, I've grown a lot, but a lot of it has been having to allow people to, not having to, but allowing people to contribute. But I honestly don't, in my brain says that opportunity doesn't happen that often. And and that's okay. But it's kind of like, I have always been somebody who's always been kind to other people, and I get a lot from that, but I don't really have a lot of opportunities where I have somebody to contribute to me. And of course, part of that comes from, like, how my life is set up because of my conditioning. My life is set up like my job is kind of like a solo job. And where I get to be contributed to and contribute to others is actually being an independent certified Optavia coach. And I really thoroughly enjoy that. And not only that, just being on the journey with other people, like, is like, it's amazing. There's so many discoveries I've had over the last year, just immersed myself in. One of my big aha discoveries is, um, I was carrying abandonment around with me everywhere I went, right? But I didn't know. I didn't know I was carrying abandonment around with me everywhere I went. The way I was carrying it around is all my relationships were related to my abandonment. And it wasn't until I looked at, recognized, and was aware of the fact that I had abandonment as a condition and a disease that I had. I was just born with it, right? I was just born with it. But what helped me realize was going through some of our health material, educational materials through our program. I actually discovered, wait a minute, I wasn't born with abandonment as a condition and a disease. I'm actually victim to it.
Uh-huh.
So I recognized that that was like a big piece of like what was driving relationships. And so like I started operating differently, and I also started cleaning it up with people who I've had relationships with, and just like, and I'm coming closer to my authentic self, and it's just like it's been a really cool journey, and there's so much more to discover. All of our life is a journey, and it just requires constant discovery. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but we've all probably got a little piece of abandonment back here on our shoulder,
Mhm.
goes an automatic default that our brain is, our brain wants to fight, fly, or freeze, and it's because that's how we're wired. So until we start looking at like being aware of, you know, is that really the truth, or is that my story about it? So, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell, right? And I'm really excited to share on these weekly calls with y'all, and it's exciting. So I hope you all are having a wonderful day.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, you guys. I really appreciate that. This is why I said sometimes when we get stuck in that victim mode, that life happening to us, it is throw us off balance, Till we have to stop and really take a breath, deep breath, like you said the other day. Breathe, just breathe. And sometimes just take a moment to just breathe and just realize you're not a victim. Life is happening for us, and let the magic happen. I love the magic. It's in the outcome, I love it. So thank you, you guys, till next week. And thank you so much. And if anybody have anything love to share, and love to share and touch somebody's heart, please let us know. We don't mind having you over with us. Thank you so much and have a good evening, and we will talk later. We'll
Thanks,
see you
Yola.
next week. Stay online.